They call it America's finest city. It is easy to see why. San Diego is a masterpiece of geography. 70 miles of pristine coastline, perfect 72-degree weather year-round, and a culture that blends laid-back surf vibes with the stoic pride of one of the largest military hubs on the planet. Tourists flock here to walk the Gaslamp Quarter, to visit the world-famous zoo, and to watch the sunset over the Pacific Ocean from the cliffs of La Jolla. It sells a very specific, very expensive version of the California dream. But in 2026, that dream requires a blindfold. If you know where to look, the illusion shatters. Behind the manicured palm trees, beneath the sprawling freeway overpasses, and hidden deep within the city's unique canyon system, there is a sprawling, desperate population fighting for survival. They are the casualties of a housing market that has lost its mind, and a political system that has decided the best way to solve poverty is to make it invisible. Welcome to San Diego Homeless Crisis 2026. Tents on the coast, hidden crisis in plain sight. Today, we are going to expose the reality behind the postcard. We will investigate the brutal effects of the city's aggressive camping bans, which have pushed thousands of people into the dangerous, flood-prone riverbeds. We will look at the crushing economics of a region where the working class has been priced out of existence. And we will confront the ultimate American tragedy, the staggering number of military veterans sleeping on the streets of a Navy town. This is the uncomfortable truth about the West Coast. To understand the San Diego crisis, you have to understand the law. A few years ago, the city passed the Unsafe Camping Ordinance. The goal was to clear the visible encampments from tourist areas, schools, and parks. On paper, it was a public safety measure. In practice, it was an erasure campaign. We walked through the East Village, an area near Petco Park that used to be the epicenter of the street crisis. Today, the sidewalks are mostly clear. The police cruisers circle constantly. If a tent goes up, it comes down within hours. But the people didn't evaporate. They didn't suddenly find affordable apartments in a city where the average rent for a one-bedroom is hovering near $3,000. They just went into hiding. We followed the trail of displacement away from the downtown grid, heading north toward the San Diego River. This river runs through Mission Valley, surrounded by shopping malls and luxury condos. But down in the riverbed, obscured by the dense reeds and bamboo, is a different world. We hiked down a steep dirt embankment off the I-8 freeway. The noise of the traffic faded, replaced by the rustling of the brush. We found a labyrinth of narrow trails cut into the mud, leading to a massive hidden encampment. We met a man named Carlos. He was 38, a former warehouse worker. He was busy reinforcing his tent with wooden pallets. They swept us out of downtown. Carlos told us, wiping sweat from his face. They told us to go to the shelters, but the shelters are full, or they won't take my dog. So we came down here. The cops don't come down into the mud unless they have to. We are out of sight, out of mind. But being out of sight comes with terrifying risks. San Diego's topography is unique. It is a city of mesas divided by deep canyons and river valleys. In the dry season, these areas are tinderboxes. A single spark from a cooking fire can ignite a massive brush fire, trapping the people living in the canyon and threatening the wealthy homes built on the rims above. And in the winter, when the atmospheric rivers hit California, the San Diego River turns deadly. When it rains, the water comes up fast, Carlos said, pointing to a water line on a concrete pylon 10 feet above our heads. Last year, they had to send swift water rescue teams in boats to pull people out of the trees. We lose everything, but as soon as the mud dries, we come right back. Because there is nowhere else. This is the definition of a hidden crisis. The city has successfully sanitized the tourist zones, but at the cost of pushing its most vulnerable citizens into hazardous environmental zones. But who are these citizens? The stereotype is that they are all addicts or people who move to California for the weather. The data tells a different, much more disturbing story. A massive percentage of the unhoused in San Diego are local, and many are the working homeless. We drove to Fiesta Island in Mission Bay. By day, it's a recreation area for boaters and dog walkers. But at night, the parking lots fill up with a fleet of battered RVs and cars with fogged-up windows. We knocked on the door of a 1990s camper van. A woman named Lisa answered. She was wearing nursing scrubs. I work 40 hours a week at a clinic in Kearney Mesa, Lisa said. I make $22 an hour. After taxes, I can't even qualify for a studio apartment. They want you to make 3 times the rent. I'm a medical professional, and I pee in a bucket in the back of a van. I park here because it feels safe. But I wake up every morning terrified of a parking ticket that I can't afford to pay. Lisa is the collateral damage of a broken economy. San Diego has become a playground for tech executives, biotech researchers, and foreign investors. The cost of living has severed the working class from the housing market. But perhaps the most agonizing contradiction of San Diego lies in its military identity. This city is defined by the armed forces. The Navy SEALs train here. Massive aircraft carriers loom over the bay. The roar of fighter jets from Miramar is the soundtrack of the city. San Diego prides itself on patriotism. Yet, it has one of the highest populations of homeless veterans in the United States. We went to a food distribution line near Barrio Logan. The line stretched for 2 blocks. We met a man named Thomas. He was wearing a faded USMC cap. He served in Fallujah, Iraq. I did my 4 years. I got out. I brought the war back with me, Thomas said quietly, staring at the pavement. The VA is a maze. The wait lists for housing vouchers are years long. When you're dealing with PTSD, you don't have the patience for a 3-year wait list. You just give up. You self-medicate to stop the noise in your head, and you end up here. Thomas gestured to the street around him. We have billion-dollar ships floating in the harbor right over there. But the guys who sailed them? We're sleeping on cardboard. It makes you wonder what exactly we were defending. The betrayal felt by these veterans is profound. They survived combat only to be defeated by the economy of the country they swore to protect. The city of San Diego has tried to build solutions. They have opened safe sleeping sites, fenced-in parking lots where people can pitch tents legally with access to bathrooms and security. We visited one of these sites near Balboa Park. It was organized and clean, but it felt less like a neighborhood and more like an internment camp. Chain-link fences, security guards. It's a Band-Aid on a bullet wound, a local housing advocate told us outside the gates. A tent in a parking lot is not a home. It is a holding pen. We are spending millions of dollars to manage homelessness instead of curing it. We need affordable housing, not more designated concrete. As the sun sets over the Pacific, painting the sky in vibrant shades of pink and orange, the contrast of San Diego reaches its peak. In the Gaslamp Quarter, the restaurants fill up. The valet parkers run for the luxury cars. The tourists toast to their vacations. But just a few miles away, deep in the dark brush of the riverbed, Carlos is lighting a small battery-powered lantern. Lisa is locking the doors of her van on Fiesta Island, preparing for another restless night before her nursing shift. And Thomas, the Marine, is finding a dark corner away from the wind, pulling his jacket tight against the damp ocean air. San Diego is a beautiful city, but beauty can be a distraction. The strategy of clearing the streets to save the city's image has not saved its soul. By pushing the crisis into the canyons and the riverbeds, we haven't solved the problem. We have simply decided that we no longer want to look at it. But the people are still there. They are still breathing, still struggling, and still hoping to be seen. Thank you for watching this investigation into the San Diego crisis. It is a story of paradise and poverty, living side by side. If you believe that a city should be judged by how it treats its working class and its veterans, please like this video. It helps us bypass the algorithms and show the truth. And please, subscribe to America's Uncomfortable Truth. We will continue to document the reality, from the beaches to the riverbeds. Leave a comment below. Do camping bans solve the problem or just hide the people? Stay safe, look out for the forgotten, and never stop demanding the truth.